everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism. So if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out. And definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. So I'm going to describe to you my ex's current reality. He's living in a big, half-empty house. All the life that was in it is gone. The kids aren't there. I'm not there. The animals aren't there. Every picture in the house is gone. Every picture on the wall, gone. The kids' rooms lay empty. A ghost town. Every time he walks by those rooms, it must be a reminder of what he lost. That would haunt me if I were him. The closets are empty. Even the silverware, dishes, and sheets, gone. It's just him living in what would be a nightmare to most fathers, most people. When we first moved into that house, my kids were young. My son was only 7. And that day, that first day, my ex and I were busy with the movers and we were organizing things. And I told the kids they could go outside and play. The yard was great. It was 4 acres, and behind the house was 40 acres of woods. There was like a little stream running through it. It was really nice. It was perfect. It was great for kids to play in. So the kids were outside, and I was with my ex organizing and doing things inside. After a little while, I went outside to get the kids. So I'm calling the kids, and they didn't respond to me. So I wasn't initially worried. I just went further into the woods, and I'm calling them and calling them and calling them. And after a while, when they didn't respond, I started to get afraid. Then it was a full-on panic attack. I had my kids falling into the hands of a serial killer. They were being murdered. My daughter was being raped. I mean, this is the things I was thinking of. I didn't know where my kids were. I had no idea, and I was terrified. I raced back to the house, and I was panicked. And I told my ex, I'm like, we got to call the police right away. I had my hand on the phone. I was ready to call when up from the basement came my kids. They had come back into the house. I hadn't seen them, and they were in the basement. So they didn't hear me when I was yelling for them outside. The relief when I knew that they were okay, when I saw my kids, was immediate. It was amazing. I felt so much better. It was intolerable for me not to know where my kids were, not to know what was happening with my kids, what was going on. My ex, though, he wasn't worried. And that reminds me of Chris Watts. For those of you that don't remember, Chris Watts is the man who in 2018 killed his pregnant wife, buried her in a shallow grave, and then he put his 2 little girls, 3 and 4 years old, he murdered them and put them in these huge containers of crude oil. Well, for a while, he was pretending, he was trying to convince the police that he didn't know what happened, that they had taken off, they were missing, whatever he was saying. And at one point, the female police officer said to him, Chris, your daughters are missing. You don't know where they are, and you're not panicked. You're not worried. You're calm. Why is this? If I was at a grocery store and I lost my son, if he got away from me, I would be panicked. I mean, she would feel like I did when I couldn't find my kids in the woods. Panic. I mean, that's what parents do. And Chris said to her, well, it's not that I wouldn't want to find them. I would try to find them, but I wouldn't panic. I'd be all right with it. That reminded me of my ex. That's a narcissist reaction because at the end of the day, they don't really care. Now, all of this is particularly poignant to me because I know how other men are, how real fathers are. My boyfriend Joe is a single father. He has sacrificed and suffered to raise his boys willingly by choice. His love for his 2 sons was very obvious from day one of our relationship. In some ways, it's who he is, a father. It's his identity. I'm not sure whether his sons recognize how blessed they are or not. Maybe they do. But I know that they will one day for sure when they have children of their own and suddenly get it. I have respect for Joe for what he has done. I have respect for other fathers for what they've done. I have respect for family. Over the weekend, I returned to YouTube after a 2.5-week hiatus. While I was gone, I had run from my narcissistic ex with the kids, and in the process, we're beginning our life over. So if you haven't seen my return video, please check that out. It's the last video I made entitled Whatever It Takes. In that video, I briefly mentioned my ex's reaction to the three of us fleeing, but I didn't go too far in depth about it. In today's video, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into his strange reaction to losing his family. Have you ever heard the quote that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago and the second best time is now? It means that the best time to do something may have passed, but that doesn't mean it's too late to start it today, to begin again. You can't go back in time, but you can make today a wonderful day, the beginning of something good. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I was telling Joe last night, if I knew at the beginning of my entanglement with my ex who he was, I never would have gotten involved with him. For me, it's past the best time to have planted that tree. But, and I love this quote, we're always one decision away from a better life. One thing I try and do with my channel is tell you things I wish I knew earlier, so you don't have to make the mistakes that I did. I already put in 20 years. You don't have to. In a lot of ways, narcissists are like a science experiment or like an accident on the freeway. You can't stop staring. Their behavior, their reactions are so far removed from what you would expect. They seem like a different species. We can think of them as some type of alien race. When I left my ex, I do believe I shocked him. I think he really thought I would always be there, that I was his possession. He owned me, the kids too, and some of the animals. That first day must have been agonizing for him, a huge narcissistic injury. He doesn't have my new phone number, so he can't text me. He could only email me, and that's what he did. He emailed me obsessively, actually, over and over. Please call me. Please, please, please call me. If you've ever loved me, call me. I really need to talk to you. I'm desperate to talk to you. Please call me, please. And it didn't escape my notice that here we were, him begging me to talk to him begging me to call him, when there were so many times in the past where that was my exact situation. He would give me a silent treatment. I would beg him, plead, please, please talk to me. He was doing it to me, and he didn't like it one bit when I didn't respond to him. But once the shock wore off, it was very different. It's been a different story ever since the next day. Joe and I have been baffled by his behavior. It's so strange for a normal person, for a loving parent to comprehend. This is unexpected, especially considering he had attempted, with his parents' encouragement, to get me arrested on kidnapping charges the same day. He ended up having a be on the lookout out for me. He tried to get an Amber Alert out for our son, who was 15. But all of that was shock and encouragement from his parents. Left to his own devices, he's completely abandoned the kids. Now, I need you to hear this if you're staying with a narcissist for the kids' sakes. By the next day, my ex's concerns and his emails centered exclusively around his comforts. Where are the remote controls, the garage door opener, the extra set of keys? He has never, not once, even that first day, asked if the kids are okay. We're living in a different state that, as far as he knows, it's a state I have no connection to. It must be strange that I'm in this state. He doesn't know that I have any connection to it. Joe is my only connection to this state. He doesn't know anything about how or where we're living. These are his kids. This is shocking. It shocks me. He doesn't know if the kids are happy or sad. He doesn't know if I drag them kicking and screaming from the house. He doesn't know or ask if the kids are okay. When I didn't know where my kids were, I was panicked. He doesn't know what the heck's going on, and he's okay with it. For most people, losing your family would be agony. I don't know that I would be able to carry on. This is narcissism, though. They don't care about their families. It pains me to know that there are so many people holding on, hoping things work, believing the lies and the fake apologies, thinking that this time will be different, or it's best for the kids to have an intact family. At the end of the day, a narcissist's hold on reality is tenuous. When you are dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with someone who feels better in fiction than fact. You are fighting a losing battle. Just because you didn't make a better choice 20 years ago, 10 years ago, yesterday, doesn't mean you can't make a better choice today. Nobody wants life to pass them by. Nobody wants to feel regret, wishing you did something earlier. The past can hurt you, yes, But what is most important is not dwelling on it, but learning and growing from it. Yes, the best time was 20 years ago, but you have a second best time now. Remember, one day today will be 20 years ago. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. It means everything to me that you support my channel. And when I tell you that I'm grateful, I really am, and I thank you. If you haven't already, like I said, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. I will be back on Wednesday, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.